Right, all praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High Elohim of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I want to say peace to each and every one of you in the name of His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who we know as Jesus the Christ. In this message, I want to answer a simple question, and that question that was given was, what is the purpose of the creation? Okay, so let's go very simply to the very beginning of the Bereshit to answer that question, what the purpose of the creation is. First and foremost, in Genesis 1, let's see the cause of creation. Very simply, in Genesis 1 and verse 1, it says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Okay, so we know that the cause of the creation that you see is none other than Elohim. All right, and so we know that He made all things in the beginning, and that at a particular time there was a state of chaos on this earth. He says in verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So what took place was this creative force ultimately brought forth the conditions to where life would be sustainable here on this earth, because it was submerged in darkness. So when you start to read on what happened on the first day, the second day, etc., um, this is from the purview of an earth that is engulfed in darkness. Now that's physically, but this is also points to what took place spiritually upon this earth, is that it is immersed in darkness, and that the light of Christ would come to the earth. But verse to the creation, but verse 31, because he tells you the state of things after after the sixth day, he says, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So what he made was good. But the question again is, why did he make it? Well, very simply, let's pick it up, because that's the question. Why did he make what you see? Why did he make the earth? Let's pick it up in Isaiah the 45th chapter. Isaiah the 45th chapter, and we'll pick it up here in one verse. It says, for thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it. Remember, we read that he was the cause, right? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So it says again, verse 18 reads, for thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. Notice what he says here. He formed it to be inhabited. So that's why he made the earth, right? He formed it to be inhabited. Then he says, I am the Lord and there is none else. So that it is not just that we would inhabit it as human beings, as flesh and blood creatures, as terrestrial beings that came forth from the earth, but it was even made so that he would actually dwell here. Let's pick it up in Revelation, because then again, the question is, why did he make, the creation? Why do you have that? Well, again, he made this earth to be inhabited. This is Revelation 21 and verse 1. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Right? So this is ultimately what we're reading it in John. This is after the 1,000-year millennial reign of Christ. This is after Christ has defeated the last enemy, which is death. This is ultimately the culmination of what he created. Because even when he made man, if you go back and read Genesis 1, when you look at the vegetation, when you look at the animal, whether they be in the seas, in the air, on the earth, or on the ground, everything was after its own kind. And he said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So he made man, and gave man, as he gave the other living things, a mandate ultimately to reproduce. Okay, so that's what has taken place. We are the reproduction of Elohim. We were made to be what he is. We died because of sin. The earth is in a corrupted state because of sin. But and that came through Adam. But the redeeming work through Christ is none other than life from the dead and rejuvenation of a corrupted world that was corrupted or that fell through sin. As Adam opened up a door for death and destruction, Christ has opened up a door for life. And ultimately, there's going to be a renewal All right. So he says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Again, this is the culmination of what he created. Verse 2 says, and I, John, saw the holy city coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, now this is again, why did he make the earth? He says, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. Notice what he said, the tabernacle or the dwelling of God is with men. That's here on this earth. That's why he made the earth. That's why you had the creation. Again, he made this earth to be inhabited. And we understand that I said this is a total culmination because there'll be no more flesh and blood at this time. Verse 4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, neither shall there be nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Right? So, even when you think about people, their intent is to go off into heaven, where he actually made the earth to be inhabited. The Father and the Son are actually going to be here. You read in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, when he comes and reigns, and then he delivers up the kingdom unto the Father. Well, the kingdom is here on this earth, right? And then you have what? The resurrection. You had this, then you gonna have, after you had the first resurrection when the Lord comes, then you have the second resurrection if you keep reading in Revelation, right? You read in the previous chapter that you have a resurrection, and they live and reign with Christ 1,000 years, right? And then you had the great white judgment, and then you have no more flesh and blood. This is the point of the creation. This is the objective. Man was made to be what he is. He made the creation or the earth to be inhabited, but not just by man. He's actually going to tabernacle or be here. So he saw, it says, and I heard a great, it says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, right? The dwelling of the Most High is with men. And he says, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. But they're not flesh and blood. How do you know this? Verse 4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, right, for these words are true and faithful. Okay, so now again, he made this creation to be inhabited, and he's going to be here with man. This is the Father and the Son, the same ones that were in the beginning, right? Because you read in John 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was at the beginning with God. In the beginning, that's why it says in Genesis, let us, right? So there's two. But verse 22, it says, and I saw no temple therein, because he's talking about New Jerusalem, and then he that's on this earth. Then he says, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither the moon to shine it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Again, that's the Father and the Son. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. And there shall no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but that which are written in the book, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Okay, so now this is right here on this earth. He made this earth to be inhabited. And with that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you will edify.